Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode here on the Hermitcraft Season 7 server. And I've been making some adjustments and changes over here because we're going to need bone meal for today's project. And since I had the wolves over here automatically killing the skeletons, we hadn't been getting as many bones because I have looting on my sword. So now what I'm going to be doing in the future is standing over here and whacking them with my sword to get tons and tons of bones. You can also see I made some modifications here. I fixed up the bookshelves at the back, and that means that all the dogs stay in this area. But then I also added a fence gate to let them out as well, which I've done and just sat them over here. So if we go and look in our chest, you'll probably notice there isn't much bone meal at all, and that's because I've basically been raiding it out of here and using up the last of my supplies with various projects. Although then I've also been traveling around the server and been discovering, let's throw down our ender chest, that I actually have, look, there you go, loads and loads of bone blocks. So I've managed to restore some of my findings. But basically, our bone meal supply over here is getting a little bit low. Well, having raided all of this, it turned out we did actually have quite a lot. And I just went and emptied out all of the trash from these chests. That is a lot of items. So Skeleton Farm is no longer our primary source of XP. Of course, it is Iskal's gold farm over here. We got ourselves a golden ticket in the last episode. And once again, I've been putting my tools to use. Yes, look at my shovels. They've been absolutely exhausted, and you're about to find out why. This is part of the reason why we need bone meal. But first of all, I just want to get these repaired. I love this farm. Literally 1 minute later, and we're all repaired up. Okay then, so why were my shovels so knackered? Well, it's because I've been using them, obviously, and what you're looking at now is a third-person time-lapse created with the replay mod. We used this a lot last season to make amazing replays, and now it is in beta testing for 1.15.2, meaning it'll be available to the public soon. When I know that, I'll let you know, but right now us hermits have access to the beta, and so I put it to use. I had no problems with it, and I was able to make these 2 short time lapses of me mining gravel and sand. So why do we need this stuff? Well, it should be obvious. We're going into business with Corrales. We need to make lots of concrete. And I mean lots, okay? Shulker boxes, 9 of them filled up with gravel, and 9 of them filled up with sand. What a redonkulous amount of materials we have for this project. Now, of course, we're going to be selling all 16 colours of concrete available, so we need to get our dyes in order, and these are the main ones right here. Now, white dye we obviously get from bone meal, but you can also get it from flowers. We got the black dye from our ink sacks. We've already got a cactus farm that we might need to expand. The yellow and the red actually just came from these flowers right here, so that's where bone meal is useful again. And then we can get this from lapis or from cornflowers, and of course the brown dye comes from cocoa beans, so we could quite easily set up a farm that we can harvest and replant to get all of that. So now what we need is a flower farm to fill in all of the gaps and make it easier to collect all of the dyes. Now let's turn our attention to what should be a very familiar sight. This is of course the area that we are settled in. We have the stronghold somewhere around this island, and then over here is my farming outpost, you might remember, where I created a pumpkin and a cactus farm. And I know that somewhere on the server I had seen a flower forest. Well, it turns out it's actually this biome right here, and we already have a nether portal hooked up to get to this area. So it's a very quick journey from our desert, and what you'll notice pretty quickly is the amount of flowers. This is exactly what we want to see because the flowers equal dyes. And the next task for us is to figure out the optimal position in which to build the farm. For you see, when you bone meal this little spot right here and get a flower, you're always going to get the same type of flower again. So you have to figure out where the flowers are best distributed for you to get a farm in place and then get an equal amount of the different types of flowers. Well, you're never going to get exactly equal, but you at least want to get one of every type of flower available. Okay, I am in creative mode. Yes, this is not the Hermitcraft server. This is an old backup of the world, and I've come to the same location to show you how we're going to figure out where we build our farm. Now, I've already done this in episodes in the past, and I've done it where I've actually gone around and manually bone milled and removed grass and left all of the flowers in place so we could figure out where they were. Then we've made use of commands to speed things up, but this time we actually have a data pack installed, and this was made by Mazuma Games and Siberian Hat. So thank you to the both of you for making this data pack. It makes life so much easier, and Mazuma has a video on it, so if you want to go find the data pack and use it yourself, because it's a very useful tool, then there'll be a link to it in the description box down below. So what you do is you stand on the ground, you place down grass, and then it creates like this this little area right here, and then you place down another bit of grass, and it does all of that process for you. So it bone meals the ground and it removes the grass, and all you got to do is just give it time and it does its thing, and you can see exactly where the flowers are. So you can probably predict what's next. To make our lives easier, I built a platform above the biome below, and this works at any height value. So where there is like a cornflower in this spot right here, bone meal will always create it, and it will always do it at any single height. So that means that we can come up here and just do it on this platform. And it looks like it does massive areas all at once as well. Okay, well that is going to make my life nice and easy. And so with the power of the replay mods, I decided to scale this all up so we covered an enormous area, and then capture it in time-lapse mode, which is what you're looking at right now. Of course, this is just incredible. So, big shout out to Mazuma Games and Siberian Hat for their wonderful data pack. It's made my life easy, and this is extraordinary. I decided to make this thing really large, and you can kind of see where the flower forest biome is. It's all of this space here with a beautiful pattern. Then around the outside here, we have the savanna biome, and over there is plains. And I believe in those biomes, the flower map might not be the same as here, where it's permanent every single time. So now what I need to do is figure out what's the optimal place to put this farm so that we can pick up a nice amount of each of the different flower types. It'll probably take me a little bit of time, but I tell you something, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to figure out. So looking at the cross section from these flowers over to our dandelions here, you've got all the different types in the middle, and I think the most important ones are these two here. We get white from the lily, so that saves us using bone meal to make white dye, and this saves us on our lapis. And then we have these other colours over here, all covered by this. The one flower that we can't get is blue orchid, but that's light blue, which can be created with these two. And at this point, the only other type of farm that would cover something we don't have is the sea pickle, which can make lime. But of course, with cactus and then with white dye from this, we can make lime as well. I made a rather important observation. The white tulip will be turned into light grey. So that makes this flower, the lily, even more important for our white dye. And after playing around with several areas, I think we're going to go for a long sweeping machine that goes through this area. And because there isn't many pink or orange in the very middle, we go all the way out to the edge here, we go all the way out to the edge where there's pink on this side, and we've also just got a little bit of yellow coming through, which probably actually wasn't that necessary, but hey, we'll get a little extra from this farm. So enough with the talking, it's time to get a building, and we're going to breeze through the creation of this because it's actually the same design that I built last season. So I will walk you through each step quickly. The first thing that we're doing here is the dispensers that are going to dispense bone meal into a layer of grass that goes above. Now the redstone wiring is just like last time, it's very clever. As you see, the repeater points into the block below the dispenser, and this means that it will power the redstone off to the side, but then this over here isn't going to go in any other direction to any other of the dispensers. So you can send a signal from this end and you will power all of the dispensers all the way down, and you can do the same thing from the other end. Now the reason that this is a little bit lower than when we did it last time and you have these gaps here is because I also want to hook up hoppers to these dispensers and be able to automatically fill all of this stuff up with a bone meal. So if I want to walk around underneath here, I'm going to need this extra little bit of room to move about. Let's also grab our rockets and talk about location, because we are way up in the sky. Look at this. Yeah, I was going to build it down below, but then I thought, if I'm AFK over here, there's going to be mobs and stuff spawning in the caves down below, and obviously we don't want that. So I'm going to be AFK up here in the sky and not loading anything but my flower farm. And there you have it, my friends, a flying machine that goes back and forth over and over again. I'll add a lever to the side of this which will turn it off, and it'll be able to start it again once the machine parks itself down here. But this is a classic flying machine going back and forth, so we're going to need to install some hoppers down the bottom here to pick things up, and we're going to need to hook this thing up so that when it creates a pulse when the flying machine arrives, that heads down the bottom to all of our dispensers. So now the flying machine will come across to the end here, and a signal will be sent downwards to all of the dispensers. So there it goes, and it powers them all the way to the other ends. And as you can see, we've got a row of hoppers down here and a row of hoppers at the other end to collect all of the items. So now all we need is bone meal in the dispensers. It is now go time for this project, but I've realised a couple of things. First of all, this didn't need to be up in the sky. I just did to stop mobs spawning down below, but whatever, it's here now. And you can see over the side here, we've got a bone meal distribution system. So the idea is that the bone meal gets split off into these two hoppers, and then down below it gets split again. But due to the transfer speed of hoppers, it doesn't really work like that until it backs up. So I think I might replace the entirety of this with something different later on. Anyway, there is a lever somewhere around here, right? I think it's on the underside. Oh yeah, and this is what the hopper placement looks like, by the way. So there's 5 grids of 4 dispensers, and so they all kind of come in from the side like so. And I can't actually reach the lever, and I need some sandstone. Clearly, I was very prepared to record. There it is. Maybe we'll replace that with something a little easier to access. But when we go up here, there it is. There it is, my friends. Everything has been bone mealed. And you can see in and amongst all the grass are the flower types, just like on the flower map. So we're going to get the lily of the valleys and the corn flower in the middle. Ah, this is brilliant. And then when it comes to the end, all of those things get pushed into the hoppers. There they go. And that's it. We've done it. We built a flower farm. So here's a little speedy up bit from up in the sky. As you can see, the machine is going back and forth flawlessly. All of the dispensers are working. The grass and flowers are coming through. But I think the best way to see that is this moment right here, where it all comes across. That's fantastic. This machine is not without its flaws though. Something I never noticed is that the items actually get pushed into the wall over here. I don't know if this was a problem last season, but they don't actually get picked up by those hoppers. So what I'm going to do temporarily is add extra hoppers on this side, and then eventually I'll rewire all of this so it's not in the way, and we'll have like an additional gap here. So if I just drop down below, you're going to see that those items, they actually sort of get pushed through the block and fall through the hopper, which is rather strange. Oh, does this mean it hasn't done what it's supposed to have done? It's just arriving, so let's see it in action. Oh, it does kind of look like it struggles to pick them up. So I think we are going to need that gap, because if it doesn't pick them up over on this side, it gets to simply sit on top of the hoppers, and eventually they pick up the flowers. So it's not perfect, it needs more work, but the main thing is this. We are now steadily getting stacks of what can be turned into dyes to make all of our concretes in the different colours. Phase 1, we make all of the dyes. Phase 2, we realise that we're going to need way more than one stack of dye to fill a shulker box full of dyed concrete. Oh, jeez. Phase 3, we revel in the glory of our hard work. Look at that. That is absolutely insane. So that was an absolute grind to gather all of those materials, and of course the next step for us is to put it in the concrete blaster, which we're going to do probably in the next episode, which is episode 900, and it's not going to be like a super duper spectacular special, but I'm putting together a couple of things I think will be at least interesting to celebrate that landmark, and it will be coming out later in this week. And I did want to take the time just to say, if you're not subscribed here on this channel, you know what I'm going to tell you to do. If you're enjoying the Hermitcraft series, then, you know, subscribe and get notified of when the videos come out, and if you feel like leaving a like as well, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you everyone ever so much for your support. And let's check up on our diamonds. You can see we made a diamond over here with ink sails. We haven't any with bone meal, unfortunately. Do you know what? I actually forgot to check a couple of them over here. No surprise. What about these ones? Yeah, these aren't really moving at all. But over here, the money makers. Look at this. We've sold a bunch of that, and I'm trying to restock it. And we've sold a whole bunch of this as well. So we are making money from our mining, which is fantastic. And the cobble sales have not continued to roll in. We also have a honey shop to check on, of course. And it looks like, yep, no new sales since last time we checked. So things are happening in this area. This shop right here is so interesting and impressive. We're going to come back to it in just a moment. There are two shops that I want to check out. And this one right here is Iskal's Treasure Island. Really cool idea right here. Look at this, a whole bunch of upside down shulker boxes that you can't open. I thought that was really clever, because the goodies are inside. So I believe it's a diamond for one, and you get to keep the shulker box, which is an absolute steal. When I watched his video, I thought it was a diamond for one of these, and I was like, that's an absolute steal. I'd pay a diamond just for the shulker box, but it turns out it's a diamond block, so it is a little bit of a gamble, and it looks like Iskal's got his own little diamond pile going on over here. We're going to throw one down, and do you know what? I was looking around, and there was only one that was light blue, so I figured I'm going to take that light blue one. Maybe that is significant. Let's throw it down, open it up, and... oh, it's empty! It's empty! Sorry, there's supposed to be something inside of it, right? There is actually another light blue one. Do you know what? I was about to mine this up because I'm so used to doing that. I've already got one in my inventory. I actually pinched one from Impulse's shop the other day when I brought some sea lanterns. And later on I was like, hang on a minute, I took his one, so I need to go replace that. Anyway, there's actually one other light blue one, so I'm going to treat that as a sign as well. This might be a very bad strategy. Oh! My luck! My luck! Oh, I got two empty ones. Surely not. Oh. Yep, look at this. Clearly there is an ender chest missing. My bad, my bad. Let's put that back. So the other new shop that I wanted to show you was for something I don't particularly have an interest in buying, but I was just so impressed with this build. Vintage Beef has created this. It's a llama store. You can select what colour of llama you want, and it's a diamond block for one. And also over here, you can try on different outfits, as it says. Really, really cool stuff. Check this view from the side, though. You can see there's a whole bunch of llamas stacked up there. Now that I'm a little bit closer, wow, this is so very, very cool. Ah, so they're kind of like Pez dispensers, right? You've got the different types all stacked up, and then you can release one at a time and send it up. If I had a home to put a llama in, I think I'd actually buy one of these. Let's do a little head games checkup as well. Earlier I bumped into a wandering trader, and I got a couple of hermit heads, but I had to check, and like it's none of the ones up on here, which is worrying. And also False and Impulse shouldn't be able to get too many more points because the Vindicator heads are now banned, which is great. But me and Corrales have drifted all the way down into 4th place. Oh, and I think last episode we were over here, right? Buying some of Grian's goodies, and his boat has expanded. It looks super cool. It seems that Grian is going into the business of sand and gravel. When I checked this yesterday, it was all stocked up, and I was pondering if maybe we should buy some more, but it looks like all of it's gone. Well, that's just fine, I guess. Well, Corrales has been on the hunt for sand and gravel as well. He came over and dropped off a couple of shulker boxes, so we got another 6 ready to make dyes. And once all this stuff is converted, what we're probably going to be doing is taking like the most popular ones and then using our sand and gravel once we know what the demand is. Hey look, there's a shulker box over here. It's always nice when you're low on shulker boxes and you discover, you know, a new one. Speaking of being low, I just paid 2 diamond blocks for 2 shulker boxes. Ugh. These are all empty now, my friends. Look at this. Completely unloaded into the system down below. And this means that an expansion was required. What an insane amount of blocks. Do you know what? It took us about an hour last time we did this, right? And I think that this one's going to take us even longer. Probably like 2 or 3 hours to do all of this. It's going to be absolutely bonkers, my friends. I am just loving this season of Hermitcraft right now. And I'm looking forward to all the projects that we're doing, including finishing this tower, building a new one. Oh, I got so many things that that I want to do. It's just a mad scramble, it feels like. Anyway, that's where we're wrapping up this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then leave a like as always. Thank you so much for your support. And I'll be seeing you soon with episode 900 of Hermitcraft. So ciao for now. Bye-bye.